Does your company monitor your social media? Are they spying on you? That's what we're going to talk about on today's walk. With the growth of social media over the last few years, our personal lives are crossing over with our professional lives more than they ever have. We are on social media. A lot of people post almost their entire lives on social media. The companies we work for are on social media, and often our circles overlap, whereas before they never would. Your company's not going to spy on you in real life, but now your life is on the internet. And this has a lot of people worried about the idea of their companies monitoring their social media, spying on them, if you will. And then, even more concerning, is what, if any, impact is that having on your employment, potential termination, and is it okay? Is that okay? And is it happening? So the simple question is, do companies monitor employee social media accounts? And the answer is yes, but probably not to the degree with which a lot of people fear, and probably not in the ways that a lot of people fear. I think probably the first thing to go ahead and dispel early is this idea that it's illegal for companies to monitor your social media. I think that that's something that people wish was true, because you feel like your social media is an extension of your personal being. And so for a company to monitor that would be akin to spying, would be nefarious, and therefore should be illegal. However, companies are well within their rights to monitor your social media. Some may review your social media at the time of hire or during the hiring process. They'll monitor it if there's something going on that the company needs to know about. And so a lot of times companies are going to monitor your social media if there's something that's breaking company policy, if there's something that's damaging to their image, if there's something that's damaging to other employees. They will monitor it because they do have a right to protect themselves in some ways. However, the law also swings the other way. You as an employee have certain rights that they can infringe on. They can't just gather and collect data for any old purpose that they want. They can't use what they find on social media to discriminate against you in any way. So it is a balancing act. Companies can use social media. They can monitor what's going on there. They can check in on employees. But what they can do with that data and why they're doing it, there are legal ramifications around those things. And some of you, that may sound concerning, but it's not always a bad thing. I worked in healthcare for many years, and there are a lot of policies around privacy. There are laws about privacy, both of employees, of patients, and you don't want some of that information getting out. So for instance, in a hospital setting, if you take a picture and there's a patient in the background, well, you can't post that because that patient may not want that, right? What if their medical charts are in the open? You can't post that. And so there were cases that I heard about where an employee posted something inappropriate. They had to get it taken down. Now, was the hospital out looking for people doing that? No. But it was something that got brought to their attention, so they had to address it. So that's generally the type of monitoring that I've seen, where they're not out there looking at everybody every day, but something gets brought to the company's attention, and then they go out and take whatever action needed. So I've said on this channel before that I have been in HR for quite some time. And in those years in HR, I've never experienced any situation where a company was spying in any kind of nefarious way, right? Nothing pointed or targeted at an employee. And so I don't think this idea of the big bad corporation going out of their way to spy on the little guy. In my experience, it doesn't generally work that way. I would assume that in most situations where someone is spying on you on social media, I would assume it's probably a lower level leader getting out over their skis, probably not a good leader, and they're probably abusing their power. And then you probably do have some legal recourse as to what you can do to deal with that situation. In addition to things that get brought to the company's attention, another thing that I have seen is that at times when companies implement a new policy, maybe they change their comp structure, maybe they come out with a new benefits program, they will have people who go out and look and see on message boards, Reddit, Facebook groups, and just see what is the feedback that we're getting from the employees. Is this a positive thing? Is it being taken negatively? Have we communicated the change effectively? And then they'll use that information to see how successful the change was. So for instance, if you did a big comp adjustment and everybody on those message boards hates it, then maybe you didn't really identify the issue. Same thing with benefits or anything else. So with this information, as an employee whose employer may be out there checking in or monitoring the message boards or reviewing social media if things come up, so what should you as an employee do to protect yourself just in case there is some kind of monitoring going on? And the answer is twofold. One, don't get out of control on your social media. It's perfectly fine to be on social media without going crazy. So I would avoid things that particularly are targeted at your company. Now, there's a lot of things they can't discriminate against you about, so I wouldn't worry about those things. I wouldn't try to just be a shell of a human being on social media. Be who you are, but just know you shouldn't go hard after your employer just in case. But I still maintain the vast majority of times, unless you're doing something that's illegal, that's against company policy, or something that could really reflect negatively on the company, they're probably not really monitoring you. And if they are monitoring you, I would bet it's some lower level leader who is probably just way out of their element and not the company directing them to do it. I mean, the reality is that a company, when you're talking about the company, those higher level leaders, they don't have time to monitor your social media. And most of them don't even care about it. They want the company to be safe. They want the image to be good. They're not going to worry about Pete in accounting posting something on his social media. At least in my experience. And that is what these always are. My experience, my opinion. And the second thing that I would suggest is for message boards, groups, things like that, I would use an anonymous username and be as honest as possible. The reason being, if your company has an employee message board, and I don't mean through your company, but I mean if Reddit has, say you work at Walmart and there's a Walmart employees Reddit board, 100% guaranteed there's somebody in that group that is in a position of HR leadership or reports to someone who's monitoring all that. So I would use generic handles so that your name's not in there, but be really honest, because a lot of times they're going to use that feedback and really take it to heart. I've been a part of projects where, we've thought we did something really good. You go onto those boards, we've gotten reports back that, hey, people on the message boards are saying it's phenomenal. They're thrilled. And so then we feel like, okay, we did a good job. Conversely, there's been times where we thought we did it, going to the message boards. Turns out that's not really what the issue was. And so I think a lot of companies, particularly those that are really trying to do what's best for the employees, they're going to take that information to heart. So be honest on those message boards, but use an anonymous handle. That way nothing's tied back to you. So you can be honest, but still protect yourself. Because there will be people who have a say that have someone in those groups watching. But at the end of the day, are companies monitoring social media, message boards, things like that? Yes, they are. Are they spying and out to get individual people? Not in my experience. And so I think that there's some truth to it, but I don't think that it's something that you should worry about. I would just say, be reasonable. Don't be crazy on social media. And if you can do that, you don't really have anything to worry about when it comes to your company monitoring your social media. Just be smart. Be smart about the way you use social media. Don't do anything intentionally damaging to your company. That's my 2 cents. I'll see you guys in the next one.